for staying on. It's still Breakfast Live on GTV, and it's our time with the Minerals Commission. Once again, the CEO, Mr. Martin Ayisi, is here with us, this time to talk about the requirements to get registered in order to provide any of the mine support services that we talked about last week. If you would remember, the Minerals Commission has issued the 5th edition of that list, and a lot more people are called upon to take advantage of these opportunities that are in the mining space. Some are reserved strictly for Ghanaians, and some are reserved strictly for people who live and work around the mining areas. So we'll put that list on your screens pretty shortly so that we can get the details of what you could do. And then we'll go through that very quickly, and then Mr. Ayisi will tell us what the requirements are in order for you to register with the Minerals Commission. Remember that you can catch this interview on our social media platforms, GTV Ghana, but you can also get it on the Minerals Commission's social media handles. Just look for Minerals Commission everywhere, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and you will find them there. Mr. Ayisi is at our table now. Welcome, sir, once again.
Morning.
Morning. Let's quickly go through the list. We'll put it on the screen so that we go through it very quickly. What the actual support services in the mining space are, and you find them. You can provide these services: grinding media, explosives, cement, and cement products. All that is on the list, and it's about a 50-page list. Mr. Ayisi, talk us through it once again quickly.
Thelma, good morning, and then good morning to our viewers. Yes, we have about 50 items on the list. Essentially, we can put them in 3 categories. 1, areas that are no-go areas. If you're not a Ghanaian, I'll take you through. Strictly restricted to Ghanaians. So you've been seeing some of the adverts running in the papers. When they put the advert out there, they said exclusively Ghanaian shareholders and directors. Let me explain that. So it means that first you must, all the owners or beneficial owners, the shareholders, okay, and the directors must be Ghanaians. So that job cannot go to the foreign, any foreign entity, even if it's a foreign entity is 1% owner. I'll itemize a few of them. And then we have areas too that are open. I mean, foreigners can come in and also do it, but in the area of manufacturing, I'll talk about that. Then we also have areas where even if you're a Ghanaian and you're not living within the community, we will not allow you to get it, because you see, let's be honest with ourselves. Those who bought the brands of the mining, okay, are those who live in the community. They lose their lands. They lose everything, and sometimes you have to resettlement, like the Bui one I talked about in Cardinal. People say, oh, is that not discriminating? But the rest of us also enjoy the royalties. And then the other taxes they pay, that goes to the bigger, if you like, government chest. I don't know how big government chest is. So that is just by way of introduction. So we have category A, category B, and category C when it comes to the process. Now, there are some items on the list which we consider as big tickets. And the requirements are quite stringent. So in the big ticket simply means that it involves a lot of money. So it's not fly by night or these briefcase people. So for instance, contract mining. Okay? Contract mining reserved for Ghanaians. Those who want to do the surface one. The open pit where the mine you went to, that one, we allow some foreigners, 40% or so is reserved for Ghanaians. And then if you want to do explosives, set up an assay laboratory, drilling and blasting, mineral exploration, fabrication, etc. These things cost millions of dollars. You want to put up a tailing storage facility. All these things, what do you call it, are in class A, and the requirements are different. So what are the requirements? They are about 10. I don't think it's too much, 10. So for instance, if you come to us and say, I want to get into contract mining, I want to go to the mine so that they can give me contract for me to do drill, blast, load and haul, or supply explosives, okay, supply explosives to them, etc. What are the requirements? What must you do? The first thing is that you have to get an application form, okay, an application form. You do it online. You don't have to come to Minerals Commission physically. No, online. And you can do it between Monday and Sunday. That's how far we've improved the processes. The form and then the fee is about $750. So that is what is on the screen now. Okay, the form is $250 and then the fee is 500 CD equivalent. So that's the first thing, an application form which requires you give us all kinds of information about you, your name, your address, so that we can reach you. That's number one. Number two, the basic thing now. You need to give us SNIT clearance. We will need that. You need to register with VAT. We will need that. And then we also require tax clearance certificate. So that takes me to about number 4. The application, the VAT, tax, SNIT. And then we will require the CV of your key personnel who will be running the company for you. That's, key personnel. We also require you give us a business plan. Fortunately, we don't want you to be swimming anyhow, so we have a template, okay, which you can download online as to the kind of things or information you should provide in your business plan. So that's also another one. And then we need a financial statement. Tema, contract mining is millions of dollars. We don't want a situation where you just get up and think anybody can do it. So you either give us evidence that you have money in the bank, or you can go to a bank and then if they give you a letter and say, look, we will support this person for this project. That's also enough.
Any bank at all?
Yeah, any bank at all. Once Bank of Ghana says you are in good standing, you can operate lawfully, you bring it from any bank, we'll take it. Use any of the banks.
So if it's an international bank, it's also
accepted? If it's an international bank, fine. If it's an international bank, but then we have to check the process and all those things, yes. So that is also that we need an audited account of the company, especially if you are being a going concern. So for instance, maybe you're in the oil and gas sector, you're supplying fuel and you're doing all kinds of things, or you have a petrol station and you run normal retail. Now you want to supply fuel to the mine. We will need to see your audited accounts for the last 3 years because we want to see how well you were doing. We don't want a situation where you get a job then you collapse. If you are new coming in, we may dispense with that. That is it. And then sometimes too, we also require you give us a letter of intent or contract from the miner. We are not too strict on the audited accounts, contract or a letter of intent from a mining company, and also the financial statement, especially if you are new and you are coming in. I mean, you can imagine somebody who operates, let's say, kitchen services for you at GTV here. He's just coming to register to get a job at the mine. I'm not going to ask you to bring 3 years audited accounts. Okay? Sometimes some of them are not properly structured like a corporate entity. That is it. And then the last one, of course, you must be a company. So you have to go to register of company. That's they call it now. Yeah. And then incorporate a company and then put all these documents together, upload it. Even the fee is paid online, Ghana Gov platform. Or if you are not familiar with that, sometimes people struggle. So you can go to the bank, do a banker's drive and upload it. And if you put all these things together and upload it, let's say today, sometimes you can give a call if you want a clarification. If your business plan and all your documents are in order, it shouldn't take you more than a month. I mean, people have been able to get it in a week or 2. But Tema, this is what we are doing for Ghanaians to make life easy for them. If anybody walks to the Minerals Commission this morning and he says, oh, I run a security company, but I've been fortunate to get a job at this mining company. They've given me a job that, look, I should come and man their security for them. But they are insisting you should get registered with Minerals Commission. Why? Because the way the law is arranged, you cannot provide any service or any activity to any mining company in Ghana unless you are registered with Minerals Commission. Now, when you come to us, all that we'll do for you is that we'll ask you to lodge an application, okay? And then we'll do an email to the mining company and copy you and tell you that, oh, Terman Mining Company Limited or Terman Securities Company Limited is allowed to start work pending the completion of its registration. This one is something that was designed by us to make life easy for them because you see, the person has just produced a contract. The mine will not wait for you. Is he now going to wait for a month or two to get all his documents because he has to go to SNIT? That's another story. He has to go to VAT, another story. He has to chase all kinds of things, and then they can't wait for you. And it will be fair on my part to say, why will I allow a $10 million or $5 million contract given to a Ghanaian, okay, for him to lose it so that he go to another person simply because he has to go to the registration. So in the interim, that 1 or 2 months you are putting your documents together and upload it, what will happen? The man will not wait for you. Do you get it? So we have that flexibility for Ghanaians. All that I need is for you to show that you have a contract. I'll just call the mining company and say, Newmont, Golden Star, did you give a contract to Terma? That's fine. Then I'll actually upload it and you complete the process because you can't go to sleep. They will not pay you if you don't have your registration. So we'll fast track you for you. So this is that for the big ticket items. Then you also have the so-called local, those who live around the mine. Okay, they do those basic supplies, toiletries, and those basic tasks, electrical items, painting and all those stuff. For them, it's quite simple. You just need to register, get those basic things. SNIT, VAT, because these days everything is about this tax documentation. So SNIT, look, a time will come when you don't have these things, you can't do anything in this country. So SNIT, VAT, tax clearance certificate, register a company. The application fee is so low for them. And then the other thing is to just lodge application. I don't require those local people to give us a business plan. I mean, you have just been called by Newmont that come and paint 10 bungalows. You want the person to give us business plan, Tema? Or these electricians who once in a while they call them, oh, we want you to come and do wiring in this bungalow. Sometimes it's a week job, 2 weeks job, or they will call in the carpenters, prepare these wooden structures and things for us. Okay, a month, 2 months, they go away. Basic, those fabrication items. So life is very easy for them. Again, theirs is to lodge an application, they go and start. So I don't need business plan, I don't need audited financial statement. I'm not going to ask you to submit your bank accounts for anything. I mean, carpenter who has been given, let's say, a 20,000 Ghana cedi job to work for like a month or 3 months. I'm going to ask him to submit a financial statement or audited accounts. No, it's for contract miners, those who are doing haulage, security, etc. So in brief, these are the kind of things that are available. In the past, you have to physically come to head office and come and lodge an application. Now you don't need to do that. So if you are in Boeing or Talency and you want to get involved in these things, whether local level or category A, all that you have to do is to do everything on your phone. Those days you have to go to, they call it an internet cafe. It's nothing like that again. If you still have some of them in some areas, fine, because I don't remember seeing some of late. But your phone, if you are one, that's okay. But things have changed now. Remember those days, you have to go and then queue to make call. Okay? Now, mobile phone. So people do applications on their mobile phone. That's it. Get all your documents, upload them. Okay. You can make application on Saturday. You can make application on Sunday. So these are the requirements. And then we have some areas too that we call them category B, like catering. So the fee for catering, haulage, security, we understand that are not the same. That is it. Now, medical services, which we added to the list, will be in category A. It's quite expensive to do such a thing like that.
Okay, so let's quickly go through the things that you see on your screen, the services available under Class A. Those include contract mining services for large-scale mining, mining and ancillary construction services or works, example, construction of tailing dams, mineral assay laboratory, drilling and blasting, mining and consultancy services, mineral exploration services, supply of mining equipment and spare parts, manufacturing of explosives, fabrication and manufacturing of mining equipment and accessories, air haulage, healthcare services on mine sites, i.e. medical emergency support, evacuation, occupational health and safety, paramedic services, rapid response teams, etc., and then contract mining services for large-scale mining. All these fall under category A, and that's what Mr. Ayisi explained, that you need the company registration documents, VAT registration certificate, a business plan, tax clearance certificate, SNIT clearance certificate, bank statements, a CV of all the key staff, the annual reports for 3 years, audited financial statements, contract with mineral rights holder, and of course the application form, which you can also get online 24/7. Class B is where Mr. Ayisi is focusing his discussion on now, and those cover contract mining services for small-scale mining, haulage services to and from mine sites, including the transportation of personnel, catering services, security services, contract mining services for small-scale mining, haulage services to and from mine sites, including transportation of personnel. And for that, you require almost the same as what you would require for the Class A, company registration documents, a business plan, VAT registration certificate, tax clearance certificate, SNIT clearance certificate, bank statement with a local bank, and it's for a 6-month period, the CV of key staff, a summary of annual reports for 3 years, audited financial statement for 3 years, contract with the mineral rights holder, and the application form. The application fee ranges between $750 to $6,000, depending on what you are asking for. Mr. Ayisi, I'm saying that for the Class B...
Hang on. Let me distinguish between A and B quickly.
Okay.
They are just two distinguishing features. You can see what you read. All the requirements of A are the same as B. Whatever you need to make an application. The difference is that B is solely for Ghanaians. Okay, if you're not a citizen of Ghana, you can't get into haulage, catering services, security, contract mine, even small-scale contract mine. You have to be a Ghanaian. Whilst A, some of the items on the list, foreigners can get into it. Do you understand that? So that's a distinguishing feature. And then the other one has to do with the fee. Application fee and the form is $750. The form is $250. The processing fee is $500 for both A and B. The difference is the fee. Category A, that is $10,000 is annual.
So why is this in dollars again?
Oh, it's CD equivalent, because that's what the law says. CD equivalent of. We have no right. Let me put it this way: we have no right to charge any fee unless you take it to Parliament for it to be approved for you. CD equivalent.
Why not?
We deal with a dollar. No, we deal with a dollar denomination industry. They pay royalties in dollars. Everything they pay it in dollars to the government. We need the dollars as a state. Do you understand? So it's even better for the state. Just like the way we take some of our money to buy the gold, and then they repatriate billions of dollars every year, and then we give them cedis. That is it. So they really show up our currency situation. Seriously. So that is it. So we normally say CD equivalent of. CD equivalent of.
Okay, so those are classes A and B. Classes C are pretty, simple and straightforward. Exactly. I see on the list the services provided under Class C, supply of stationery, food items, etc., weeding, grassing, reshaping, cutting, trimming of hedges, mowing and fencing services, cleaning, painting, and disinfection of fumigation services, rubbish collection, emptying of sewages, and other sanitary services, physical training, gym training and swimming instructors, provision of local security or local patrol, neighborhood watch services by local opinion leaders, local health education services, and minor maintenance services, example, plumbing, electrical fittings, etc. Of course, we've mentioned supply of stationery. So these are pretty easy ones to get. Registration fee is $50 and application fee is $50 and the registration fee is 1,200
Ghana cedis.
Ghana cedis.
That's for the local people. And then somebody was just sending me a message now. Where will you put fuel and lubricants? They are in category A.
They are in the $750
yes.
category.
And then to toss a few figures around, in 2019, fuel supply to the mining companies was $100 million. And then we changed the list and said that we will not allow foreigners to supply fuel. So we took them out. In 2021, just 2 years after restricting the supply of fuel and lubricants to only Ghanaians, the amount that was spent by the mining companies, even this one, about 13 or so of them, that time the items were 29, was $304 million. Petrol. Okay, tell me. Now, we've been talking about mines expanding. The one you went to, they are expanding. We've been talking about mines doing redevelopment, and then these 4 new ones coming. So maybe we'll give ourselves another 2 years. Fuel will be about a $500 million industry. And then maybe in about 7-10 years' time, maybe $1 billion. So when people say mining is not benefiting this country and they look at only the galamsey, it tells you 2 things. Either you are not giving them the education they deserve, or they don't know what is happening on the ground. But they will not know because you don't tell them this. 2021, that's about 2 years ago, $1.7 billion was spent on these items we have just gone through. It was 29 then. We have moved to 41 last year, now 50. So you can imagine how 2022 report will look like very soon. And even next year, when we come out with 2023 report. Do you understand that? So a lot is happening. And all these services that we are talking about has nothing to do with coming to us and say, I want a license to explore, to do exploration or mining. These are just services. Services. Now, let me give you another example. You saw air haulage. I thought you asked me what is it. So you see the kind of thing Magdan is doing. He now has these aircrafts and then jets and all those things. Some of the mining companies can say they are going to site. You understand? So they can hire his services, he can fly them there because they are in there and they have special runway. He has to register with us. And a service like that is for him and any other person who will join. You see, so the likes of him and other people who are involved in this, they'll make a lot of money because maybe you need to move some items quickly to Cardinal Intelligence, so they will just require his services and then he will move it for them. Or some of these executives want to go and come back quickly for business meetings. So a lot is happening in the mining space, a lot.
We've talked about the skill sets in a previous sitting. We've talked about the education opportunities, courses that people can read. Now we are talking about the opportunities that exist within the space, as well as the processes of getting the required documentation to be able to benefit from it. In the next few weeks, what should we expect from your side, Mr. Ayisi?
Next week, we'll now go to the actual mining now. So somebody will say, I'm not interested in getting a job. I'm not interested in providing any services. I want some kind of authority, approval, authorization, or what you basically call a mining license or a mineral right to now go and do exploration or mining. How does it look like? Or exploration, what goes into it? What is exploration? When do I get into mining? What are the requirements? How much does it cost to do those things? Can I do it on a small scale or a large scale? So for the next 2-3 segments, we'll now discuss how do you get a license to do exploration and or mining in Ghana.
Mr. Ayisi, how can people reach you? You've explained the process to us. How do people get help to go through? How long does it even take from application to the issuing of that license that would be required?
For mining, we'll talk about that. Mining is quite lengthy. Ideally, it should take anything between 3 to 6 months. But for the support services, it shouldn't take you more than a month if you have all your documentation. Because people get all their documentation and they still don't get a business plan right. So normally they come, they speak to us, we get an officer to guide them to see how they do it. Not they will write it for you, you know. So unless there is this back and forth thing, change this, do that and all those things, you shouldn't have a problem. But I've already said, you know, at this platform or at this place that if you're a Ghanaian and you have a contract, you don't need to complete your registration for Minerals Commission to allow you to start work. All that the company requires from us is that an email or a letter saying that Thermal Mining Company has been has lodged an application with Minerals Commission to be registered to provide maybe catering services or contract mining. And then we said he is permitted to start work pending the registration. So for support services, don't worry yourself too much. And do you know how many companies have registered with us the first quarter of this year? 268. 268 companies have registered with Minerals Commission by the end of April to provide various support services. These are not companies who are doing mining, who are doing exploration. Just support services. So many of them catering, so many of them security, several contract mining. A lot of them are doing fuel 268 companies. By the end of the year, maybe I'll get to 300. It is the fastest growing area in the mining space. A lot of people are getting into this space providing services. It's growing. So it means that when you stop mining, these 268, their jobs are gone.
That's the other side.
So the way the services are growing, that is how the mines are expanding. I said the mine you went to just to wrap up, they are spending $1 billion to deepen that mine. Maybe in about a year or two, you go again, you go to a different level. You saw all those services there. I'm happy you went there yourself. Look at the kind of things you found underground. Okay? You came to tell us here that you saw catering services, that food is brought underground, morning, afternoon, evening. That is a job for a caterer, registered with Minerals Commission, providing services.
Yes, it's catering at the mine site where the staff.
So people should hasten slowly. People should get education, and not to say that, oh, we are not seeing it. Because look, Tema, you know the impression the ordinary man on the street has about mining. They are somewhere in the bush. They dig their stuff. They destroy our environment. I'm not even talking about Galamsey. And they say, oh, government has some 10%, and then they pay us some taxes, if any, then they take everything outside. They take the minerals outside. But since we started this public education over the last 1 year or so, you realize that a lot of things are being done here. Now, about 60% of all the receipts that the companies bring into this country should go to the local banks. Next year, we'll raise it. So very soon, I don't know how soon, maybe a year or two, very soon, no mining company can put his money in a foreign bank in Ghana here.
Mr. Ayisi, we'll look
you have to take it to Ghana Commercial Bank. You have to take it to Agri Development Bank, CBG, and all those things. Tema, we need to build our country. We need to do that. Look, the developed countries offer a lot of subsidies to agriculture. EU, America, they do it. So there's nothing absolutely wrong if we say all these billions that are repatriated, which constitute no less than 40% of our economy, go and take your money, put it in our local banks for us to grow. We need deliberate policies and programs for mining to benefit this country. We will do it.
Mr. Martin Ayisi is the very passionate CEO of the Minerals Commission, sharing with us the registration processes in order for companies to supply support services to the mines. 3 classes of services available there, class A, B, and C, and depending on what you want to do, there is a procurement list, 50-item list that you can go through. Online. You do not have to be a mine worker specifically. You do not have to ask for a contract to actually mine. There are other support services that you can offer, and that list is available online. Look for Mincom on the website. Follow their social media handles, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram at Minerals Commission. Mr. Ayisi and his team will be happy to support you to go through the process, pay the required fees, and get yourself the license to supply that support service. The show is far from over.